You know how they say comparison is the thief of joy? They're being so honest when they say that. You have to learn how to take in other perspectives without comparing yourself to others. This will allow you to, instead of taking things personally and internalizing them, seeing things from a different perspective, and if they make you uncomfortable, consider why. Is this thing making me uncomfortable because it's out of my comfort zone and I don't want to think outside of my comfort zone? Is this thing making me uncomfortable because somebody is intentionally slighting me? If this thing is making me uncomfortable because it's out of my comfort zone, why is it out of my comfort zone? What about my understanding is keeping me held down to one perspective and one way of looking at things? I've had to learn how to not take things personally. And for being a very sensitive person, that's not an easy thing to do. But I've gotten a lot better with understanding. First off, a lot of times people, they're projecting. They are not intentionally, they're not trying to harm you. They're not trying to hurt your feelings. They're not trying to come at you. Sometimes people are attempting to give you guidance because they want to see the best for you and you in the best light. And when you are living in something that may be not so good for you, it can make you get on the defensive. It can make you say, well, why are you judging me? Why are you condemning me? Why are you this? Why are you that? And not look any further, because when you get stuck on the condemnation, that's when you don't allow yourself to expand. If you look past that and look at the real message and say, okay, how does this apply to me in my life right now? If it doesn't, I don't care. There's nothing for me to even be upset about. But if it does, and it makes me uncomfortable, it makes me angry, it makes me think, ooh, you're judging me, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. I have to take a step back and say, well, is that righteous judgment? Is it possible that I could look at this from a different perspective? Is it possible that I could try something a little bit different and see where that takes me? There's no harm in trying something new. You can always go back to the old way of doing things if you don't like the new way. But we live in a society that's just so, agree with me or you're a terrible person, you think you're better, you think you're this, you think you're that, and that's just not the reality of things. Yes, there are people out there that feel as though they're better than you. There are people out there that they think they're up here and you're down here, and they want to look down on you, and they want you to know that the power dynamic is I'm here and you're here. But there are also people that are trying to come in the middle with you because they realize they are no better than you, may even be worse than you, but they want to see the best in you. And if it's not coming from that lens, I don't even give it weight anymore, because you don't deserve that energy of me. You don't deserve to get me out of character or to offend me when what you're saying does not apply to me. It has nothing to do with me. That's you. That's your projection. So start to learn how to decipher. Start to learn to separate yourself from your personal idea of yourself, of that person, whatever the case may be. Stop comparing. Stop thinking, oh, if things are this way, then that means that you're worse or you're better. Nobody here is better or worse to tell anybody what to do. A person can give you guidance, right? But they cannot tell you what to do. You make that decision for yourself at the end of the day. And when you know that, when you're secure in, I make decisions for myself. I can choose to take in other perspectives or I can choose not to. But either way it goes, it's really genuinely my choice. Once you understand that, and once you understand things are not so personal. We're not fighting with flesh and blood, but with spirits, principalities, and other unearthly realms. So when you come to that understanding, it's like, why would I take anything that y'all say personally? Especially if I don't have anything in common with you or your perspective or whatever the case may be. How could I possibly take offense to it when it doesn't matter? And when you also understand that the approval of man is worthless, you stop caring about what other people think of you anyway. You stop caring if people like you or if they don't. You stop caring if it feels like they're judging you or if they're not, because who are they to judge you? They're not God. You're not God and they're not God. So who are they? Why do you care for their validation? Why do you care for their judgment if it does not apply to you? It's easy to get caught up in your feelings. We're very emotional beings. But sometimes you have to remove your emotions from a situation. And that might take a minute. It might not happen the moment that the situation comes about. It might take you a week, a month, a year to sit on something and finally come to the realization like, oh, well, maybe that person did have a point, or maybe that person was coming from a place of love and wanting to see better for me. And again, if that's not the case, if they're just trying to hurt your feelings, if they're trying to judge you, they think that they're up here and you're down here, don't even give them the weight. Because the moment that you don't care what somebody who thinks that they're better than you thinks, does, whatever, they lose their power in your life. But you have to make a conscious decision not to take things so personally. And you have to make a conscious decision to stop comparing yourself to others. We as human beings do not compare to one another. Yes, we are all sinful people, right? No one sin is better or worse than the next. We all bleed. We all shit. We all piss. And we all bleed. But guess what? That does not mean that we are comparable. Nobody's life story is comparable to the next. And when you start to get into that, comparing this to that and the tit for tat, you start operating in a place that's resentful, that's not going to really get you anywhere at the end of the day. So that's my message for today. Thank y'all.